Oh, right. I was able to log in. Oh, boy. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Arthur. I hope you guys are well. I'll tell you what's going on here. So I received verification that the location that I wanted reserved is going to be available on August 20th of this summer. For those who are already going, by the way, Mark Kulak, KULACZ, Housatonic.live is a show, 7:53 a.m. in the morning, Friday, April 17th, 2026. That the room will be, a location will be available. If it wasn't, I would have just found another place. But I will make a landing page for that, and I'm going to be making the deposit. It's necessary for that one-day event. It's one day. It's a one-day event where I don't know exactly how it's going to flow. I might also have might even have a dinner the night before. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I will also be I hope having the opportunity to present a couple of shorter sessions as a guest speaker for Jonathan Kui's event on the new biology, or Biology 101, on Friday and Saturday of that weekend. But that is at the based upon whatever opportunity is provided by Jonathan Kui, and Jonathan Kui will be the I will ensure that he will be able to preview anything I'm going to present. I'm sure I know I believe he trusts me, but at the same time, last year was the year before, left a bad. It was a bad moment when we both realized how people we trust or had trusted can sabotage something we've worked so hard for. I think that one actually hit Jonathan harder even than me, and I think we all know what we're talking about there. So it's tough. It's a tough business. I struggle to even call it a business, because if I wanted to get into a business to make money, I would do anything, almost anything but this. Good morning, Carrie. I hope you're doing well. So some not so good news here. This is the laptop. The laptop is toasted. The laptop just stopped booting the other day. 2-3 days ago. There are a couple chips on here which have corrosion. I don't know exactly how it happened. I think it's because, it's because I use it all the time. This thing, except during times when I have a big project like this ongoing, carpentry project, in this case, studio project, where it's not just a couple hours a day this thing is on. This thing usually gets anywhere between 6 to 14 hours a day of work. It is one of the busiest laptops in the world. This Apple MacBook, I think brand new, this configuration, I think it was almost 3 years ago right now that I bought it. Let's see, it would have been 2020. Let me see here. We bought this in 22, I think. Is that right? 2022? Or maybe it was 2021. My goodness, I can't even keep track anymore. It was 21 or 22, so it's about 3.5 years right now. It doesn't seem like much, but when you're using a laptop that much, and it's always as hot as I get, I mean, I use it a lot. I'm constantly doing videos. This is a $6,000 model. Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch, 8 terabyte drive. With I think it's I forget if it's 64 or 128 gigabyte of RAM. With the upgraded video. I don't buy toys around here. We're doing the real work, and I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, it's going to be about a $1,500 repair if I have failed to get the Apple service plans. So right now I'm wondering if I do the repair and get another year and a half out of it versus get another model. This is like the M, I forget if it's an M1 or an M2. They're up to M4s right now. This is not the only Mac that I have. I have 2 other Macs here, but neither one of them has has a full local archive on it, like the MacBook does. So, because I stream using an iPad and 2 Mac Minis, which I use really just to host videos while I'm playing them, and for surfing on the internet, and so on. I can still produce. Yeah, the problem is that they're just not portable. But I can still produce material, at least for a little while. Now, with that said, okay, I wanted to put this out there as well. I was very, the end of the day, the routine here, the routine in the Kulak household as we power down at night, we got our couches a couple hours a night. It's like our routine. Catch up on the day. And I was I was particularly crabby. It's like 4 nights ago right now. And it was just a news cycle. It was actually the same night that I made a video about, look, can we just stop making thumbnail pictures with fires in the background? I know, look, I see horror movies. I'm not like offended by fire. I'm not offended by violence. But it was just this, every time I checked my Rumble or my YouTube feed, it's just fire and fire, and flags on fire and people on fire and people screaming and big words and letters. And it's just, I was just starting. I was cracking. I was actually feeling the effects of trauma. Like, this is just too much. Can someone just please tell me something without screaming and having it be on fire with emergency and red lights going off in the background? And, Cheryl, my best friend, my wife, partner, said it might be time for another vacation. Take a month off. Of course, taking a month off means going like 4 days without using the internet and then slowly starting to use it again. But whatever, okay? Might be time for a break. And then the next morning, I open up the MacBook, and it doesn't start. And I figure, okay, battery must be dead, right? I plug it in, and it just keeps rebooting. And I'm like, you know what? That's a sign. That's a sign that it's time for a break. So I'm not looking to fix the Mac today. It's a sign to take a break. There is so much work to do here. As far as still timeline stuff, organization. I have a mountain of mail to go through here. I'm blessed to have a problem like that. I still have, this carpentry project room was just a mess. Was way more work than I thought it was going to be, and it's cool. So yeah, I'm ticked, and I have I put money aside. I assume things are going to break. Okay, I assume, a good MacBook should get you 8 years, but based upon the way I use them, I factor about 3. If it was a Windows machine, it would be much less, by the way, and that's because they get beat on, and unfortunately, if it can't boot, I can't sell it either. Usually, I would factor in, I'd be able to sell it. Anyways, The point though is, my workflow is going to be off for a week or two while I factor that in. There's other stuff happening, family stuff. Again, that's been very persistent this past year. It's okay. But that threw it off because that's the machine. This is the machine I use for, final editing cleanup. I use it for, running compression on my stuff before uploading it to BitChute and Rumble. So I don't have those logins all set up everywhere else. So my workflow is just totally off right now. It's a total mess. In fact, basically, there is no workflow right now because all of that stuff used to hinge upon this one machine. But at least I can still click live and go. There's a lot of content out there that still needs to be ripped and managed. So plenty to keep us busy here. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways. Thank you, Carrie. Sometimes it's just like, okay. God didn't say stop working. God didn't say, don't do this anymore. God said, you know what? Might be time to take a few days off. And it's funny, I say a lot that I'm taking a vacation. I never say I'm not taking a vacation. It's funny because what happens is that this is just such a big part of my workflow of life right now that I say, okay, I'm taking a vacation, and then I pause for a little bit, and then I creep right back into the cycle. So I don't have like okay, I'm getting back to work day. So it's funny. I feel guilty that I say several times a year I need a vacation because it feels like I say it a lot, but in reality, I don't acknowledge is I'm frequently going out of vacation also, and I need to be more cognizant of that. And if there's one way I can remind myself of what the output has been, all I need to do is go to my video listing and go, wow, okay, so I've been busy. Let's see here. This won't apply to everyone, but I'll add it in here. I wanted to give a positive shout out to a channel called Lift the Veil. LIFT space the space. It's I forget how to spell veil. It's VEIL or VIEL. He did a great video the other day. I don't agree with his assessment on multiple things. I'm sure he doesn't agree with mine, and if he even knows who I am. But anyways, he has 100,000 subscribers. So by that metric alone, he's 50 times more popular than me. But anyways, he was doing some reviewing the news on Iran, and something caught him by surprise, and he said that he was must be wrong about a bunch of stuff, and he's made some investments, he's shorted some energy stocks or whatever. Anyways, look, it's not that someone is only right if they always say that they're wrong, but for someone to do a video and say that they were wrong about something instantly wins my respect. For whatever that's worth. Maybe that's something that some people don't want. But it is good to be, it's not good to always be wrong, but it is, you can tell when people are working if they can make mistakes. It's when someone says that they've been right about everything for 25 years. Like, well, if you've been right for everything about 25 years, then what the heck are you doing? You don't need to do anything. That means you don't need to research. You're always right. You always knew everything. Or if you wrote a book on your very first day of doing whatever this thing is, and the book hasn't changed since, that means that you have a position or a script that you are here to support. So for whatever it's worth, he seems to be trying to figure something out too along the way. And it's a good sign for people when you hear someone say that they were wrong about this, they were wrong about that, they misunderstood something. These are good signs. It's very hard. In fact, let's put it this way. I don't know of many cases at all where someone is really, truly just following a script and they go on to say that they were wrong about a bunch of things. It's very hard to do that. If you're on a script, you have to keep reminding people about what you're right about. That's how you stay on a script. In some ways, it's a little bit like improv. Okay? Where in improv, if there's an idea and there's two people having a discussion on improv, okay, as they go back and forth, in fact, I only know this from Jonathan Cooey, you never say no. You say yes. So if someone says, hey, knock, knock, who's there, or whatever. Hey, I'm here. I'm from the power company. I'm here to install your new toaster. The other person doesn't then go, no. You go, oh yeah, that's right. You do a positive, and then you keep building on. You keep adding things, but you don't throw the flow off with negatives, right? So, anyways, I don't know. It was a nice to hear. It's not nice to hear that somebody's wrong. What's nice to hear is someone saying they're wrong and then going, okay, so what did they have wrong? And how can they reorient what they think about something, okay, about their position on something, their analysis on something, based upon new information. I love that. And it's just a good sign. So if you listen to Lift the Veil, I gotta say that was a good thing to hear, right? And it's nice to hear. I want to hear more people say, what they have wrong, and then go through the process of reorienting their thinking. Cruise ship to Romania would be a good vacation. Bingo. Look at me, I'm a mess. I am a mess right now. I really, when I say I just woke up and turned the video on, I mean it. He's been around for a long time, and I guess I've been around for a long time right now also. And look, just because I've been around for a long time doesn't mean I'm right about a bunch of stuff, everything. I feel confident a lot of the work that we've done. And I'm sure that there's other work that we have wrong also. Like right now, I'm throwing out a hypothesis. Okay, it's a hypothesis, and I know there's pieces about this that are not 100%. Let me see if I can. Get my screens added here. Okay. Let's see. We're going to do and then I actually have to run out to the store myself. There. Okay. So. Okay. Now this is a hypothesis. Okay. I think it's odd that in the year 1980 and then in 1987, Donald Trump was speaking with incredible certainty about Iran. He's a real estate developer in New York, and he's in his 30s. What does Iran mean to him? Now, if he spoke about a lot of different geopolitical things at that time, which I don't think he did, okay, if he talked about a lot of different countries, I could see Iran being one of, dozens of different things that he, provides some commentary on. But why is Donald Trump so particularly focused on Iran and Iran nukes and the United States needing to control Iran or something like that in the 1980s? It doesn't really fit in with anything else. I know it was a political issue. I know it doesn't add up. So I'm throwing out this is speculation. I'm pretty sure that there's parts of this speculation that are incorrect. They're overly broad, It's missing some details on stuff, but I'm just throwing out this general idea that the support for Donald Trump going all the way back to the 1980s, some of the bankrolling for Donald Trump came from India. It's a very loose statement. I'm not saying that, the Indian prime minister, stayed at a Trump hotel and gave him money. But India it's no secret that Iran plays a big picture in India's energy security of the future. Now, right now, Iran gets a lot of their oil from Russia. India gets a lot of their oil from Russia, but Iran is a very big part of India's vision. And they need that security. And they have been, it plays in with respect to shipping routes. It plays in with respect to energy. It plays in with respect to nuclear. And also, it is a location that India has been competing for control against China. And Trump just out of nowhere just starts talking about Iran in the 1980s, which, again, it could have just been politically hip. But also, he then goes on to, again, this is weak metadata, but sometimes you have to just start adding the coincidences, okay? He goes big with the Taj Mahal Hotel and Casino, the eighth wonder of the world. There's several suspicious deaths. There's something to this, and currently, it is the role of India with respect to whatever is happening in Iran. It's real, and it's strange how unmentionable it is. Now, India is not the whole world. Even if India was the world's largest economy, which it isn't yet, it's silly to think that it's everything. And I'm not saying that it's everything, although sometimes I use a little bit of hyperbole and I will say something like that. But there's no ability right now to understand, these military actions without factoring at the very least the top several concerns. And the role of India is in that top list of concerns. It's hilarious to see the fake alternative media do everything possible to just never say India. So Trump had a press phone call a couple of days ago, 40-minute call with India Prime Minister Modi, and they debriefed afterwards, and it was clear that India's role is real, okay? And the following day, instead of acknowledging this, for example, Redacted ran a video called "Israel is training dogs to rape Palestinians in prison." I'm going to repeat that. Instead of saying, hey, there was a phone call yesterday where much was revealed about the importance of or the significance of these military operations in Iran with respect to India, and sharing these communications from Trump and Modi, okay? Instead of saying that, Redacted ran a video it was highlighted on the Tucker Carlson network, that Israel was training dogs to rape Palestinians in prison. And I'm like, okay, guys, how far can you take this insanity about Israel? I guess there isn't an end. It will not stop. So the people who are investing their time, and in many cases money even, in trying to use alternative media to find some semblance of truth about what the hell's going on out there are now being those stories are being further diluted with Tucker Carlson and redacted, saying that Israel is training dogs to rape Palestinians in prison. I think that says it all. Now, even if that story was true, even if it was true, you can't give 10 seconds even to running a single story with the word India in the title. Are you serious? I'm the person that says that, look, you have to look at the whole ecosystem, a broader, ecosystem of stories, right? I'm the person that says you can't possibly reduce something to one thing. But it's never been more obvious that if also there is a connection between what is known as the Iran nuclear deal and the India nuclear deal. Now, they are very different in how they function. But the Iran nuclear deal is made in the context of a world that also has the India nuclear deal. So India was getting special privileges and special trust via the India nuclear deal, or the India-U.S. nuclear deal, which where India was getting some exceptions to the non-proliferation treaty, at the same time that the United States was cracking down, right, on Iran's nuclear weapons program and enrichment program. So in order to understand the Iran nuclear deal, you have to know the India nuclear deal. Anyone that thinks that the Iran nuclear deal is just, a couple of crazy Democrats dropping suitcases or pallets of cash off for the Iranians is looking at only like 20% of the story, maybe even 5%. Because the only reason the Iran nuclear deal even exists is because of the India nuclear deal. In some ways, the Iran nuclear deal almost happened more for the betterment of India than Iran. Now, there's more dimensions to these things as well, and I'm not going to pretend to be the expert on all of them. You can do your own searches. Iran nuclear deal, India nuclear deal. And although they're not the same thing, they are being rolled out around the same time, and also they involve a lot of the same people. And there is an abundance of videos straight from India media talking about the benefits of the Iranian nuclear deal to India. A very strange thing to say. Like, why would that matter? Well, it did matter to them. Now, something that would conflict what I've said before is that, at least on the surface anyways, the part of the show that Donald Trump has put on was that he's against the Iranian nuclear deal, which I guess makes him stronger or something. I don't know. And maybe I don't know. Again, okay, I'm probably incomplete about a lot of things here, but there's something very particularly strange about this. This obsession. I mean, Trump has his Taj Mahal hotel, which he closes, by the way, before he became president. And he closed it in 2016. And then he goes straight to the Taj Mahal in India. And right now, and then he has this pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic was said to be a lab leak out of Wuhan, China. Almost all the evidence about the lab leak came from India. It's almost like India created the narrative for the United States. All of the lab leak data, the Guangzhou Qiao stories, the backstories, the detection of stuff in labs, all of these things came out of India. India provided it. And then we have now, last few years anyways, someone from India as a director from the National Institutes of Health of the United States of America, who won't allow a proper interpretation of the pandemic. It's almost as if India has a gun to Donald Trump's head. And several things I just said right here contradict themselves, I know, but there's too much data here, okay, for to just say it doesn't matter, and then to to reasonably go back to the world that says we need to be talking about Israel training dogs to rape Palestinians in prison, because that just seems like a desperate attempt to just not have India as part of any conversation. I'm also doing some compound searches of the Line, and the Line is a formal title of a massive development, new city, which was being built, installed, and whatever in Saudi Arabia. I'm curious because although it's not directly where I would expect it to be, I wonder if it's part of some trans-Arabian trade routes. Other things that Trump is part of, clearly, is talking about IMEC, the India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor, which is sort of an India-centric alternative to the Belt and Road out of China. So, anyways, there's a lot of stuff happening there. I'm not going to be too deep into it for the next several hours, or at least a couple of days. I have stuff to rip on C-SPAN, and I need to make some big progress around here. And, this is a difficult season for us, April. And I think that's it. So just kind of like a quick hello, a quick sign of life. Dogs are unclean to Muslims. Yeah, even if there's some bit of truth to it, that should not be at the top of the news cycle. I think that was my point. For that day, and even if it was mentionable, why were so many other things blocked for it? The alternative media right now is just 100% Israel bad. That's it. Israel is bad. That's all. It's worse than anything you could imagine. And as soon as you can imagine that, they'll say something. It's just it is comic level. It's comic level. So it's anyways, probably a good time for a vacation. Claims to have the highest numbers of dogs per capita in the world. Rayon Corp writes the scripts. Huh? Yeah, and look, I mean, clearly Israel's part of it, part of going along with some of these scripts. So these scripts are provided to America. I don't know why they're provided to America so heavily, but anyways, so I do need to scoot. That was already more than I wanted to do. Just a quick sign of life, quick hello. Hope you guys are well. Maybe I'll do some more streaming later. It was raining this morning. Now it stopped. Home Depot run is in my imminent future. Love you guys much, and we will talk again later on. All right, take care. God bless.